Have you ever wondered how Venezuela, a country that was once one of the wealthiest in the world, became one of the poorest and most troubled? How can a nation with the world's largest oil reserves suffer from food, energy, and medicine shortages? How can a people who fought for their independence and democracy live under an authoritarian and repressive regime? These are some of the questions we will attempt to answer in this video, as we recount the history of Venezuela's decline. Venezuela is a country located in northern South America, bordering Colombia, Brazil, and Guyana. Its territory boasts diverse landscapes, from the Andes Mountains to the plains of the Llanos, the Amazon rainforest, and the Caribbean coast. Its population is a mixture of different ethnicities and cultures, a result of Spanish colonization and immigration from Europe, Africa, and Asia. The history of Venezuela begins with the arrival of the Spanish in the 16th century, as they explored the region in search of gold, glory, and God. They subjugated the indigenous peoples who inhabited the land, imposing their religion, language, and laws. They also brought African slaves to work on sugar cane, cocoa, and coffee plantations. Venezuelan colonial society was marked by racial and economic inequality, with an elite of Spanish descent dominating other social groups. In the late 18th century, Venezuela participated in the independence movement of the Spanish colonies in the Americas, led by Simón Bolívar, the liberator. After a long and bloody war, Venezuela became an independent republic in 1821, joining the Gran Colombia along with Colombia, Ecuador, and Panama. However, political differences among regional leaders led to the dissolution of the Union in 1830, giving rise to Venezuela as a sovereign nation. Venezuela experienced a period of political and social instability throughout the 19th and early 20th centuries, marked by civil wars, military coups, military dictatorships, and caudillismo. The situation began to change in 1922 when oil was discovered beneath Venezuelan soil. Oil became the country's primary source of wealth and development, enabling the modernization of infrastructure, industry, and education. Venezuela also underwent a process of democratization, with the rotation of political parties in power and the expansion of civil and social rights. Venezuela enjoyed its economic and social heyday in the 1960s and 1970s when it became one of the most prosperous countries in Latin America and the world. The nation had one of the highest per capita GDPs on the planet, with income relatively evenly distributed among the population, a strong middle class, and a low poverty rate. Venezuela was also known for its vibrant culture, popular music, award-winning cinema, and beauty pageants. However, not everything was perfect in Venezuela. Behind the apparent success, there were structural problems undermining Venezuelan society. Excessive dependence on oil made the country vulnerable to international market fluctuations. Widespread corruption eroded public and private institutions. Urban violence increased in major cities. Political polarization grew between traditional parties and populist movements. The global crisis of the 1980s also took a heavy toll on the Venezuelan economy. In this context, Hugo Chavez, a charismatic nationalist military leader, emerged, promising to radically change Venezuela's course. Chavez led an unsuccessful coup attempt in 1992 against President Carlos Andrés Pérez, who had implemented unpopular economic austerity measures. Chavez was arrested but gained notoriety and sympathy among the poorest and dissatisfied segments of the population. In 1998, he was elected president, initiating a political project known as the Bolivarian Revolution. Chavez implemented a 21st-century socialism model based on the nationalization of strategic companies, the redistribution of oil revenue, popular participation through communal councils, and regional integration with allied countries. Chavez also confronted the United States and domestic opposition, accusing them of conspiring against his government. Chavez modified the constitution to expand his powers and perpetuate his tenure, winning re-election in 2000, 2006, and 2012. Chavez enjoyed the support of a significant portion of the Venezuelan population, benefiting from his social policies and their identification with his nationalist and anti-imperialist rhetoric. However, Chavez also faced strong resistance from another segment of society that criticized his authoritarianism, populism, clientelism, and personalism. Venezuela became divided between Chavistas and anti-Chavistas, generating a climate of confrontation and intolerance in the country. The situation worsened after Chavez's death in 2013, due to cancer. His successor, Nicolas Maduro, inherited a country in economic, social, and political crisis. Maduro lacked the same charisma and legitimacy as Chavez and faced an increasingly strong and organized opposition. Maduro also had to deal with the plummeting oil prices, which drastically reduced state revenues. Maduro responded to the crisis with authoritarian measures, suppressing popular protests, arresting opposition leaders, convening a parallel constituent assembly, and manipulating elections. Venezuela plunged into a state of complete collapse. The Venezuelan economy shrank by over half since 2013. Inflation soared to astronomical levels, exceeding 1,000,000% annually. Food, medicine, and fuel shortages became chronic, causing hunger, diseases, and deaths. Violence reached alarming levels, making Venezuela one of the most dangerous countries in the world. Political repression violated human rights and fundamental freedoms. Millions of Venezuelans fled the country in search of refuge in other nations. Today, Venezuela is a country devastated by the most severe humanitarian crisis in its history. A nation that lost its democracy, prosperity, and hope. A nation that urgently needs a peaceful and negotiated solution to overcome its internal conflict and rebuild its future. With that said, thank you for watching, and until next time.